Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and hello to all our listeners who are listening us throughout the world. So we have started a new series on this YouTube channel that is all related to electrical engineering. So we consider ourselves very lucky that we got a vast experienced man with us, Mr. Habibur Rahman Habib. And it was we're thinking about this thing that there should be some platform where we should be guiding the electrical engineers who have just entered this field, or at the same time we'll be motivating the our young generation that they should come in the field of electrical engineering. But today we'll try to address those questions: why the youth should come into electrical engineering, why not the other branch of electrical engineering, and what are the advantages, what are the career prospects, and what are the different fields, because electrical engineering itself is a vast field. So what are the different fields in even in electrical engineering where our youth can go? So we are very lucky to have the Dr. Habibur Rahman Habib, who has got a vast experience right from his bachelor to the master to his PhD level to the postdoctorate. He has been almost in different, not in different countries. In fact, I would say he's in the different continents. So he's got all that vast experience. And today in this podcast, we'll try to take the advantage of his all his experience. So, Mr. Habibur Rahman Habib, first of all, thank you very much for joining us and a very warm welcome in this podcast. So let's
Thank you,
straight
Mansi.
jump into the first question. The question is, what is a electrical engineering? If you define in a very simple words, and with this, the another question is that why the people should select electrical engineering, why they should come in this field. So please just open this discussion with a very simple thing. What is the motivation for our youth to come in this field?
Well, sir, thank you very much for this introduction and for this session as well. And I will just define all the things in a simple way. Maybe these definitions or what we will discuss will not be aligned with the professional definitions, something like that. But we will try it as simple as possible. And later on, we'll advance
Right.
step by step ahead, something like that. So, what is electrical engineering? I think so. I will define electrical engineering in four parts. For example, electrical engineering, for example, for example, if there are parents, they have four children. So electrical engineering also have the four branches, or you can say one is electrical power, which is focused on electrical power, and the second one is you can say electronics, and that electronics also includes the power electronics when we say electrical power engineer. And similarly, the third one is the communication, and the fourth one, again, communication, all the communication protocols, all the communications, you can say all the international industry standards will be part of this communication. And the fourth one is digital techniques. You can say that all the you can say these signals, you can say the electrical, because electrical is always you cannot see anything, you cannot feel, but this electrical signals you can convert from one form to another form, and that is something we can say that is digital techniques. So you need some digital techniques
Okay,
to
Now you have just given us the definition, and you've told us there are main four fields. Let's discuss them step by step. You have just told that if you want to break down electrical engineering or you want to do the specialization, definitely then you will move into the electrical power, then we talk about the electronics, then we will jump into the communication field and then digital techniques. So Abhisar, I want that step by step. Let's give us a brief introduction. Let's start with the power. So Abhisar, I don't want that you take us through electrical power. What electrical power is. If any student who is right now in the fourth semester, fifth semester, and aiming for, and he has to select one out of these fields, and how you will give him a brief introduction about electrical power, because you have yourself has got a vast experience mostly in power. So how you will give a brief introduction of electrical power?
Yes, Mansur, thank you for this question. And because I'm also aligned with this electrical power, and my master degree is in electrical power, you can say the bachelor degree is the combination of all the four branches of this electrical engineering. And after that, for the master, you have to select one of these. And I'm talking about the Pakistani context, definitely, and overall is okay. You can say electrical power. Mostly in Pakistan, we see that electrical power is on the number one, and sometimes it's changing as well. So electrical power, and I have just, I will tell you about myself, electrical power in masters. And then you see, when I do I have completed my PhD, and PhD includes electrical power plus power electronics and control, you can say. And I think so, I forgot to mention the fifth branch of electrical, because electrical power, you can say the digital techniques, and which also includes the communication, and then electronics, and then there is a control and automation, you can say. This is also the important part
Yeah.
of this branches, control. And
Yusuf, as you are mentioning, Yusuf, as you are mentioning, so we are very lucky that you have been electrical power is your main, but you have been through this field of power electronics, control, and automation. So I think that we are very lucky that you have also got experience in this field. So you will be able to give us a brief introduction in a much better way. Ji,
yeah,
Yusuf, please go ahead.
yeah, Masab, just I want to tell you how they are interrelated according to my
Right,
field. Something you see, in
right,
master degree, I just was focused with the electrical power, where the power system problems,
right,
solving the power system problem, something, and that was theoretical, no practical, no industry linked you can see experience, something like that. After that, the PhD is the combination of electrical power. Electrical power definitely is the main thing, and after that it was also included the control section. You apply the control, and also there is the electronics at power stage, that is called power electronics. Electronic at micro stage is also the electronics. Peoples are for example, in our you can say atomic energy commission, you can say the different government organizations, atomic energy, and there you can say there are other project management, PMO is there, and NDC is there in Pakistan. So all electronics engineers are there, but power electronics is something relevant to the power engineer. So now I will tell you with the example. For example, I implemented microgrid. What is microgrid actually? The first of all, I will tell you that microgrid is the combination, you can say microgrid is the energy source, local energy source.
right,
For example, you want to feed a local community of 200 homes, 500 homes, 300 homes, or even as small as one or two homes. You want to feed them,
right,
and you don't have the grid, or even grid is available. But when grid is not available, you have some alternative source, that is called microgrid, a uh, small energy generating source, which includes the generations, and those generations can be solar and wind and battery energy storage. So now I will tell you the example of this microgrid. Microgrid is the wind generation, then which you can generate the power from the wind energy, and then you have the for example, in our region, for example in your region, Lahore, if there is no wind, so you cannot use that wind, okay, you can skip that one. You can use the solar and battery energy storage, something, these combinations you can use, and this is combinations can be done with this microgrid. Different type of microgrids can be complete. So now for this microgrid, you this is microgrid is also is the power, electrical power, because you are generating the power, and you are feeding the load. So this is power, electrical power. Now the second thing is, you have to control, because wind is not available at the night. No, sorry, solar energy is not available at night, so sun is not available.
right,
And wind is also intermittent. It means it may be available at this time, and in the very next moment it's not available, and it's fluctuating. And solar is also, maybe the clouds are there during the daytime, and the raining is there. So you see, solar is also not you can say the constant. It's flexible, fluctuating, something like that. And to maintain this fluctuation, we use the battery energy storage. So it means we will store the energy in the battery, so that if there is any fluctuation, we can constantly feed the load with the help of battery energy, because we store some extra energy to the battery when wind as solar was available. So this is this combination, you see.
right,
Now your question was no we have to control this, we have to manage them. You see, so far to manage
Listen,
them.
before we get to the next field, this is a very important question. Nowadays, this is a very hot field which is going on in electrical. I'm seeing with lots of our colleagues and lot of friends. I'm saying they're doing the master in renewable energy. That is, if I just want to ask, is the renewable energy actually a further part of the electrical power?
Renewable energy, I will say renewable energy is electrical power, you can say. And when
Yeah,
renewable energy is
right.
electrical power, but to control them, to manage them, we also need the control. We also need the power electronics. And if we want to control from the remote area, for example, you are in Lahore and you want to control the microgrid in Balochistan, so you also need the communication techniques and communication and digital techniques, something like that. So these are the interrelated things which we need when we want to apply a real time project. So in the industry here in Europe, all the projects, we also, for example, here the projects where we are working on the microgrids, we have to develop the microgrid control in Simulink, MATLAB, for example, or in Power Factory. We have to develop this. And what now we can understand that, oh yeah, this is the project for the industry in European, and we see that Russia is creating the problem for the Europe, and Europe now we want to become the independent from Russia, and
Yeah,
Europe
right.
want to have the renewable energy enough and renewable energy until 2025, 2023 project, 2040, 2050 something. They have the target so that they can get rid of Russian energy, something like that. So
Russian
this
gas. Yeah,
Russian gas, yes, yes. So it means
right.
now Europe is want to develop some systems, and there is some problems. For example, you have the DC energy, DC source, electrical energy, which is connected with the DC, and the energy which is connected to the AC. Now you have to connect. For example, Denmark. Denmark has the electricity, and you want to connect Denmark with the Italy, with the France, something. So these, because European unions are very small countries and they are interlinked, so you can they are their electrical energy also interlinked, yeah. So they want to interlink,
Right.
so they need the converters, and the converters need control. So it means
Right.
control section is here, but for this control section for what? For electrical power, because they want to
Right.
exchange the electrical power, electrical energy, something like that. If so, electrical power is the main, and to control this you need the converters, and that is the control section. And also after the control you have the you can say the those converters. So what is converters? Those are actually those converters are very high energy converters. I mean 5 megawatt, something in megawatts. You cannot imagine they are transferring energy not for minor level, something like that. So it means we need the electronic components. Why we call it electronic? Because they are switching the switching states, IGBT
Yeah.
diodes, these kind of things. But these are power diodes, power IGBTs, you can say. They have the electric, they have to transfer electrical power, not for just for LED to transfer the power. No,
Right.
that is electronics. But if you want to power high
Right.
power to the, you have the power electronics. So these power electronics converters you
So
need.
before
And
till this point, we understood
yes,
that once you are producing the electricity, that will be considered in the power, electrical
yes,
power. But then
yes,
after production, then you have to transfer those electrical energy as well. Transferring is another feed from transfer. Then you have to really convert it as well. Then we'll
yes.
move on to electrical converter, and that will come into almost we entering into the control field.
Very good. You made it easy. Yeah, converter. You need the energy conversion. I will add one
Yeah.
more point in this section. That conversion from
Right.
AC to DC, you need to conversion again. Power converters, and they need the control. So power converters itself are
Yeah.
is the power electronics components, and they are power electronics, and then you have to control.
Because
So
here I
this
just want to
control
ask
element.
ask a basic question for our especially for our the new engineers who are listening us our students that we some once you're producing it in a DC you can't send it in the DC then we have to need the conversion DC into AC. So we were just for our the new lot. Can you explain it? Why we do this conversion? Why we can't transfer in the form of a DC? Why we need all this conversion? And what is the advantage and disadvantage of sending in DC and AC? Please just go ahead with this one.
Yes, Malkshad, thank you very much for this question. And I will talk in the European context because different countries want to exchange the power. So
Yeah.
here the main problem, there are many problems. There are different projects in Europe are undergoing, and one of the problem which I observe, which is also the hot topic for those students who want to do the PhD or even the master. For the master, this is the very good topic. So HVDC, for example, high voltage DC, there are islands. You know, island mean here in Europe, different countries have islands. Islands mean there are separate place, island. There are a remote island, and they have self energy and generation, something like that. Some from geothermal, they have enough energy from geothermal. Some from solar, some from wind, something like that. So when these kind of energies are available, when they have the extra energy, they have to transfer to other countries. They have to
Right.
sell that energy to other countries, so that they can earn the revenue, and they can maintain their so GDP or something like that. So what they do, they need some connections. And what observed in today's life, that HVDC and DC section is more, because you are generating AC, electrical energy AC, but for to exchange, there are different pros and cons for AC versus DC. You will see in the text, DC has these advantage, AC has these advantage, something. For example, for the AC, you have to, if you want to transfer the energy, you have to step up so that losses will be less. You have to use a high
Yeah.
costly transformer part, which is very costly for the AC section. For DC, you only need the power converter, something like that. So these are the things. And know what concluded, that you can exchange power for a long distance with the HVDC, for the DC, for example, DC. So DC is more
Right.
convenient as compared to AC in Europe. They are focusing on that, and they have to establish the connections between the DC. And they need, for example, in Denmark, they are generating AC, and they don't want to shift to Switzerland. They want to transfer the energy, so they need the converter, and they want to convert it into DC. And then they will shift it to in Switzerland DC, and then they in Switzerland again they will have the converter to shift it into the AC. So in this way, the reliability, resilience, and all these things are more preferable to convert through the DC section, something like that. So these are the trends.
These are the bottom line is that whenever you have to transfer the electricity from one place to another, you can't transfer AC directly. So that is more convenient that you should transfer it DC. Once the DC will reach at our prescribed location we want to utilize, then the DC will actually be converted into AC, and then the usage form is actually of the AC. That is the form which we use in our homes.
Yes, Marsa, but I want to correction, make it a correction here, but that we can also you can say transmit AC energy. In Pakistan, you see NTDC, they are 500 kV line, and they are transferring AC. There is no issue. But you see, you when you see the losses,
Okay.
there are much losses
Yeah.
in AC section, and also the costly component of the transformers and something like that. So what I observed in Europe, they are focusing to interlink through HVDC to the DC. But it depends. For example, you have very close countries, and HVDC
Okay.
is working fine. Maybe you have some you have to transfer for a long distance. Maybe at that time, okay, AC section will be better. So it depends on the specific needs, specific location, specific country. You will have the feasibility analysis, and you see, okay, in this area, if you will apply the HVDC or DC, you will transfer through DC. It will be more convenient, more economical, more preferable, more reliable, more resilient as compared to AC, something like that, and vice versa.
Right. Right, right, right. Yusuf, here I want to just want to ask one question. When we talk about the power, electrical power, so you said that when you have to transfer that electrical power, so it's not only the power, then the different other branches will come into play as well. You talk about the control. Yusuf, I want now, let's move on to the second our main field, that is control and automation. Yusuf, you have also got experience of control automation. You have worked in this one and different projects you have worked. So just with your experience, just give us a brief introduction about, because there is also field this which has got a lot of demand and people are coming, and especially those who have passed out, they are making a good money out of this field, control automation. So there's a huge motivation and people really want to come. And the automation really, we know that inspires and attracts the people. So can you take us through a brief introduction of control and automation?
Yes, Malksha, thank you very much for this question. I will just tell you with an example what I'm doing here in the projects, or what projects are going on here, so that the audience can
Nowadays? Yeah.
understand it well. Yeah. For example, for
Yeah.
the automation and control, uh, uh, there is, for example, here is the island where they have connected the battery energy storage system, for example, and they have the
Right.
battery storage for the battery. So what they want to do actually, they the problem is, I will tell the problems actually. The problems will highlight the importance of control and automation actually. For example, problem number
Right.
one,
Right.
what is ongoing, and
Yeah.
these problems, keep it in mind, all the students who are want to do the master or PhD, these problems are there actually, topics of research. They can do this research as well. And for example, one problem is, when the system microgrid, which I already defined, is supplying the electricity, okay, to the load. Now what will happen? For example, suddenly load is increased, or load is decreased. Suddenly a huge amount of load is disconnected. Now what will happen? There will be a instability, you see, in the system,
Right.
and those instabilities, we need to control those stabilities, otherwise the system become unstable and it will be blackout. You see, in Pakistan sometimes you see there is a blackout, everything is shut down and no electricity, all electricity load shedding something in whole country.
Yeah.
This is sometimes happens in
Right.
some countries. So this is something, so you, to avoid those things, that
What
is
is the
not
main reason?
right.
Just with just we were just taking advantage of that one. Just give us the explanation of the blackout. Where we have seen a blackout. People told even in the USA after such a long time, even in the UK we have seen after such a long time that blackout happen. It's even once in a while. In Pakistan, less developed countries like Pakistan, it happens frequently. But in the developed countries, though it happens once in a while, but it though happened. So what is the reason for that blackout, Lisa?
Yes, Malsab, the black hat, or you can say, you can say, in a simple words, you have the load, you have the generation. And
Right.
if, for example, I have the capacity to maintain 50 kg load, yes, when you will put
Right.
60 kg, I will maintain. But when you have the suddenly put 100 kg on me, I will be broken, something like that.
Yeah.
So the same situation on the generation. For example, if you are increasing the load and suddenly increase, you can see in the you have connected all the loads of the Lahore section, for example, to the same feeder, to the same system, and Lahore, Islamabad, different cities are there and loads are there. You suddenly load is increased, something like that, and it becomes, it is possible as well. And also suddenly generation is dropped. For example, there is problem with the generation. One generator is faulty and it needs maintenance. Suddenly you have to stop it. For example, no, generation is less, load is normal, load is normal, but
Yeah.
generation, due to less generation, no, load is very high for that existing generation. So it means there is a mismatch, there is a, you can say, there is no balance between generation and load. Here what will happen, when you apply high load, so frequency will decrease. I will not define the technical terms. Definitely the load
Right.
on the generation, and generation, you see, generators cannot fulfill that demand. So they eventually, will stop working, because this is beyond their capacity, and they will stop working. And when one generation will stop working, you see, for example, two peoples are you can say uplifting the 100 kg load, okay, two people, five people, for example. Now one person is very tired and he just skip that thing. Now four people are now, you see, uplifting that 100 kg, same 100 kg. Now third person, fourth person is also tired and he will just isolate himself from the people. Now three people are just managing that 100 kg. If third person will
Right.
again something skip there, that two persons cannot maintain 100 kg, everyone will collapse, something. This
Okay,
is
because
the
that
actual
point,
fact.
because that point is clear. When the demand is too much, yeah, and
Yeah.
supply is too less, then definitely we will experience a blackout. Because just in one or two line, what should be done to avoid this blackout? And it happens in Pakistan. I think it may be the reason all of a sudden one feeder, one generator stop working. This actually happens. What should be done here to avoid this blackout?
This is the problem. You can say this is the research topic for the masters, for the PhDs, or something as well.
Right,
And also, this is the hot topics. One of the topic in Europe as well. For example, islanding. Very
right.
important that you will sectionalize the power system. For example, Lahore section is separate. If, for example, there is a fault in Islamabad section, you will you will see that there is a fault, there is problem, there is load mismatch, anything happened. When happened in Islamabad, between Islamabad and Lahore, for example, you will separate Lahore section that can operate independently. This is called islanding. To operate at standalone and
Right,
islanded
sir.
or off
Right,
grid
right.
or standalone, something like that. So it means Lahore section will independently, you need some control strategies, very sensitive protection systems, protection and control and automation, it is all linked together. So you have to devise those strategies so that you can separate the healthy section, and you can separate the healthy section from the faulty section, so that the okay, Islamabad is in at blackout, but Lahore will be safe, and it can be. So you need some controls, and these are what happening in Europe as well. Yeah.
Yes, sir, we got your point. I think for of all our new engineers who are listening us, it's a topic, a hot topic for a discussion or maybe of the research in future. They can keep in their mind that blackout, what is a blackout, as you explained us, how we can get rid, how we can make sure that blackout should be avoided, because this is something which every country, every individual,
Amal sir, I want to
every
interrupt. For example,
institution want a black.
I just want
Yeah,
to interrupt and just add one thing. For example,
yeah,
why blackout is
yeah,
happening?
sure.
It means there is a short circuit or there is a high amount of current, something like that. So it means if you
Right.
can design a control, something power electronics and control, so that you can sense those high currents, and these are the relays, overcurrent relays are there. For example, those overcurrent relays can sense the current and they can trip the breakers, and they can isolate the healthy section from the faulty section. So this is the example that
Hmm.
you need to sense the over high amount of currents. Normal currents is,
Yeah.
you already know that there is a normal currents and there are high amount of currents. When there is the mismatch or there is a variation, magnificent variation or significant variation of the current, you will sense it, and the components that is called relays, they will sense and they will operate the breaker. This is one thing. And similarly, if there is
Yeah.
an under voltage, when there is a fault or there is problem, voltage will be different. uh, if load is
Right.
less, for example, if load is less, voltage will be high, and if load is more, voltage will drop. In our remote areas, in villages, you will see our refrigerators, fridges, refrigerators, washing machines, people's complaining that their washing machine is not working just due to low voltage, because Wabda is
Yeah.
not providing the required voltage. So the voltage, why? Because load is more, and voltage is dropped, under voltage. So this under voltage relays can be sensed. You have to design a protection system where you can sense this under voltage, the voltage be below that level, which is the international standard. For example, 1 per unit is okay, zero point 0.9 per unit is okay under voltage, but below that, or below 0.85 per unit, you have to you can say that is not reasonable voltage. So you have to that section you have to isolate from the healthy section with the help of under voltage
Exactly.
rays, and similarly over voltage rays. So in this way, the protection and control and automation, you can manage those systems, healthy systems, you can separate healthy system from the faulty sections. And even after that, there is called reconnections, reconnecting. This is the part of automation. It means, okay, this connection, this faulty section is separated, it is isolated. It will not be isolated forever. You have to
Right.
again
Right.
devise these strategies, automated strategies, because humans cannot do it in a moment. They will need days or maybe two, depending on the situation. So automated systems will also again sense, okay, if this fault was temporary, for example, the bird fall on the lines, or there was a storm and tree has fallen on the lines, but after some times it was okay. So it means there was temporary fault. So if there is a temporary fault, the automated system will, you can say, reconnect the system again, because it was temporary something. So they will sense
We said
it.
before
And
we said before we move Lisa, before we conclude this automation, and want concluding line from you. But before that, you have just talk about something very, very important, something very interesting. That is, short circuit. This is something which is of a real concern. Even Lahore Hafiz Center now, a few months back, there was a huge fire in the Hafiz Center. And whenever there's a fire issue in any building, most of the time the answer comes, what is the reason for that fire? The answer is the short circuit. Lisa, can you just give us a little bit knowledge about short circuit and how it can be avoided and what is the reason of that short circuit fire, especially happening in the buildings?
Thank you, Malsar. This is very important because this is relevant to the safety of the peoples. You know, in Karachi,
Yeah,
you see there are poor peoples. They are dying. 200 peoples on the factory. There is fire, something like that. So it's very
yeah,
unfortunate. And you can say this is a short circuit, and it's a simple phenomena. You can say when there is a short circuit, a high amount of current is will flow. And you know, here in Europe, every building is they have the SOPs, and it's up to the government to apply those SOPs. Okay, if there is an industry, there should be a strict SOPs that there will be a safety precautions, that if there is a short circuit, all the automated systems will work. And you see, there will the trip of the breaker, or even fire alarms, or even you can say the carbon dioxide or something other, to just get rid of those fires. So these are different phenomena. There are automated systems, you can say, in the industries they are following, and those SOPs if we will follow. And the basic of those SOPs is what I already mentioned. For example, if there is a short circuit, it means the high current, and you have the protections, control and system depending on the current level in Hafiz center, something like that. You have to design, engineers are there, they will have to design the control and automation and protection, and they will design that. And after that, you can see, there is a one technical thing which I want to mention here. For example, to adjust the settings of the relays. For example,
right.
relays will work like a human, but how they will sense? One another
Right.
one important problem Europe is facing, and we are doing in those projects, European projects as well. That is because the inverter based resources. This is called IBR, inverter based sources. What is inverter based sources? Because solar, wind, battery energy storage, these are actually using the power electronic converters. So power
Right.
electronic converters, these are called the IBRs. So these inverter
Right.
based resources, the main problem, one of the problem is, when there is a short circuit, there is not much amount of current the converters, power electronics converters can provide, and relays cannot sense those currents because current is less as compared to what the relays want to sense. So there is mistripping, misoperation, something like that. So to do that, engineers, what engineers are doing here, they are just using different algorithms. For example, genetic algorithm, optimization algorithm, machine learning, artificial intelligence, these kind of things, just to create different scenarios. For example, Hafiz center is there. For example, you just gave me the example. Okay, in Hafiz center, there are different shops. They will
Right.
simulate those model. For example, in MATLAB, that okay, there are 100 shops in Hafiz center. If all the shops are open, what will happen? What will be the current? If 90% shops are there, what will be the current? If 50%, 40% load and suddenly all shops are closed, no load, so what will be the current? These are the different scenarios which will be used. This is called the data. Now we have the data, we can apply the machine learning optimization algorithm to sense, okay, now based on this data, there is if there is a short circuit, what will
ये सब
happen?
इस
Yes, yes, please.
ये सब इसी में आई वांट कि अगर आप ये एक चीज दोबारा कर देंगे जी हफीज सेंटर में अगर ये आग लगी पहले या आप चाहते हैं फ्यूचर में ना लगे क्योंकि हफीज सेंटर के बिल्कुल साथ ही एक ऊंची बिल्डिंग पेस थी आज से ऑलमोस्ट फ्यू डेकेड्स बैक पेस के अंदर भी आग लगी और मतलब ये लाहौर में या इवन कराची की बात करें ये चीजें आम होती जा रही हैं अगर अभी साहब आप इसको ज़रा सादा अल्फाज में दोबारा एक चीज बता दें कि शॉर्ट सर्किट को कैसे अवॉइड किया जा सकता है एक लेमैन की लैंग्वेज में तो प्लीज गो अहेड
मतलब साहब, शॉर्ट सर्किट को एक लेमैन की, if we want to say that one, just we need to, for example, if there is a short circuit, during the short circuit, the value of the current, the amount of current is different. Electrical parameters are different.
वैसे
We
मेरी
have
तो
to.
मेरी रिक्वेस्ट होगी, अगर काइंडली वी साहब, अगर काइंडली आप इसको थोड़ा उर्दू में
अच्छा, अच्छा,
बता
ठीक।
दीजिएगा। ये जरा
जी, जी।
एक शॉर्ट सर्किट, क्योंकि हमारे पास ना भी इसी काफी डिमांड है, ये सवाल पूछा गया है, तो जरा हमारे इन भाइयों के लिए थोड़ा अगर उर्दू में आप जरा शॉर्ट सर्किट थोड़ा डिफाइन करें, फिर हम वापस अपने आ जाएंगे इस पे।
जी, जी, मतलब साहब देखिए, अगर शॉर्ट सर्किट होता है, कहीं भी शॉर्ट सर्किट होता है, इसका मतलब शॉर्ट सर्किट का मतलब ही ये होता है कि आपका करंट बढ़ गया है, समझ रहे हो? जब करंट बढ़ गया है या करंट की वैल्यू बढ़
ठीक
गई है, या इसको आप करंट को आप और कुछ तो नहीं कह सकते, करंट ही कहेंगे। तो जब वैल्यू बढ़ गई है करंट की, इट मीन्स फ्लो बढ़ गया है, यानी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का दूसरे लफ्ज़ों में कह लें, या जो कुछ भी कह लें। यानी आप समझिए कि एक टंकी है पानी की, और पानी की टंकी भरी हुई थी। ये वोल्टेज का लेवल है,
ठीक
ये
है
जो पानी की भरी हुई है। अब इसमें से आपने समझे कि पाइप से पानी आ रहा था, तो ये करंट एक कंट्रोल था। अब पाइप ही फट गया है, समझ रहे हैं? या दीवार ही एक
ठीक
टूट
है
गई है, तो अचानक ही सारा कुछ जो है ना वो बाहर फ्लो हो रहा है। तो ये इतना ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ करंट फ्लो हो गया है कि अब सिस्टम को समझ नहीं आ रही। वो इतना करंट, जब भी कहीं देखिए शॉर्ट सर्किट होगा, तो हमारी जो केबल्स हैं, पी सेंटर में केबल, पहली तो बात है, केबल ही हमारी 2 नंबर लगाई होती है हमने, समझ रहे हैं? उसके ऊपर
बिल्कुल
इंसुलेशन
सही,
ठीक नहीं है। थोड़ा-सा शॉर्ट सर्किट हुआ, गर्म
बिल्कुल
हुई,
सही।
कोई भी चीज़ हीट अप होती है, देखें आप, टेम्परेचर राइज़ होगा तो आग लग जाएगी। आपको ऐसे ही है ना? आप देखें,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही।
मुहद्दब अदसा होता है जो कन्वेक्स और कनकेव मिरर, मिरर जो मुहद्दब अदसा होता है, आप सूरज के सामने रखे हो, नीचे पेपर पे रोशनी डालें, सूरज की रोशनी आप फोकस कर दें पेपर पे, पेपर को आग लग जाती है, उसका टेम्परेचर राइज़ हो जाता है।
आग लग जाएगी,
समझ रहे
बिल्कुल
हैं?
सही,
तो अब इसी
बिल्कुल
तरह है
सही।
कि जब दो केबल्स आपस में शॉर्ट होंगी, तो करंट जैसे ही बढ़ेगा ज़्यादा, करंट बढ़ेगा, तो वो करंट बढ़ने से क्या होगा कि वो टेम्परेचर राइज़ हुआ है असल में। टेम्परेचर राइज़ हो गया, उसकी इंसुलेशन मेल्ट हुई। तो पहले तो इंसुलेशन उसकी मेल्ट होगी। अगर तो इंसुलेशन अच्छी थी, तो वो मेल्ट होगी। जिस तरह मिसाल दे रहा हूँ ना, बुलेट प्रूफ गाड़ी है, तो बुलेट प्रूफ
ठीक
गाड़ी
है,
को गोली लगेगी, तो वो देखिए शीशा टूट जाएगा, लेकिन अंदर नहीं आएगी। लेकिन अगर
बिल्कुल सही,
गड्डी 2 नंबर हुई, मतलब उसका शीशा ही दो, तो बुलेट प्रूफ, मतलब वो गोली आएगी सीधी बंदे ਨੂੰ लगेगी। समझ रहे हो ना?
बिल्कुल सही,
मतलब
बिल्कुल
यही
सही।
बात है कि जब वो इंसुलेशन आपकी इलेक्ट्रिकल केबल ठीक नहीं है, तो इनको इंसुलेशन 2 नंबर होने की वजह से उसको फौरन आग पकड़ती है। यानी वो फायर रेजिस्टेंट ही नहीं थी, फायर मतलब वो उसकी क्वालिटी नहीं थी, क्योंकि वो महँगी थी केबल, समझ रहे हैं?
देखा, मैं
तो
आपने काफ़ी अच्छा बता दिया कि शॉर्ट सर्किट क्या होता है? बड़ा अच्छा आपने
जी,
एक्सप्लेन,
अब
लेकिन
देखें,
इसको अवॉइड कैसे किया जा
हाँ,
सकता है?
अब
एक तो
देखें
हमने बात कर दी कि
इस
क्वालिटी ऑफ द वायर बहुत इम्प्रूव की जा सकती है।
जी, जी,
अब
जी।
जैसे ये थोड़ा ये भी बता दीजिएगा कि हफीज़ सेंटर जैसे हमारे प्लाज़े बनते हैं, तो हमारे यहाँ कोई इस तरह का रिवाज नहीं है कि भई उस तार की एक लाइफ़ होनी चाहिए। 10 साल
जी, जी।
बाद, 15 साल बाद, 5 साल बाद, 7 साल बाद कि हम उसकी चेंज कर दें, इस बड़े हादसे के हम तैयार हैं। वो कीमत देने के लिए हम तैयार हैं, बड़ा हादसा हो जाए, उसमें आपने देखा हफीज़ सेंटर में कई दुकानों की दुकानें जल गई, पूरे प्लाज़ा जी उसका 2nd, 3rd फ्लोर वो पूरे का पूरा रेनोवेट हुआ, इतना कीमती जानी नुकसान हो गया। लेकिन हम ना वो एक एसओपी बना के वो चेंज करने के वो उसमें नहीं है हक में। तो काइंडली आप बता सकते हैं तार की कितनी एज होनी चाहिए, कितनी दफ़ा चेंज की जानी चाहिए ताकि हम इसको मसले को ही हल कर लें, शॉर्ट सर्किट को अवॉइड किया जाए?
अच्छा, शॉर्ट सर्किट की बात, मतलब साहब ये मैं क्वेश्चन का आंसर देता हूँ। अभी बड़ा अनफॉर्च्यूनेट इंसिडेंट हुआ, मेरा अपना दोस्त जो उधर पिंडी में
ठीक है,
रहता था, और उसके बाहर से ये वापडा की लाइनें जा रही थी। अब वो लाइनें जा
ठीक
रही
है,
थी, तो उसने ना अपनी कोई इंटरनेट की केबल लगानी थी, इंटरनेट जो टेलीफ़ोन की केबल। उसने टेलीफ़ोन की केबल इस तरह फेंकी है ऊपर, कहीं ऊपर फेंक के दूसरी जगह लेके जानी होगी। फेंकी है, तो वो केबल्स आप देखें ना, आप घरों में पिंडी में देखें, तो जहाँ भी देखें, तो ये के वापडा की लाइनें घरों के करीब से गुज़र रही होती हैं। ये इतनी खतरनाक होती हैं कि आप उसको इमेजिन नहीं कर सकते, हालाँकि
अच्छा,
वहाँ भी इंसुलेशन चाहिए कि इनको करें। तो अब उन्होंने केबल फेंकी, तो वो केबल कहीं लग गई उसको, वापडा की लाइन्स को लगी, तो डेफ़िनिटली कि लेमैन है, उसको तो इतना नहीं पता होता आइडिया। तो वो करंट ज़ाहिर है उसके आया, उस शॉर्ट सर्किट हो गया उसकी, उसके पास। और जैसे ही इतना हैवी करंट आया, तो उसके कपड़ों को आग लग गई, समझ रहे हैं? क्योंकि वो बॉडी उसकी अर्थ के साथ
ठीक है,
थी, तो वो करंट उसकी बॉडी से गुजर के
ठीक
अर्थ
है।
में गया, और इतना हैवी करंट हो तो बंदा जल ही जाता है। आपको पता है, परिंदा भी अगर 2 तारों के दरमियान आ जाए, तो जल के राख हो जाता है। तो वो करंट
जग के
से
राह
उसकी आग लग गई। वो 11-12 दिन रहा इधर, ये जो आपका अस्पताल है इधर पिंडी में, उसके बाद उसकी डेथ हो गई। तो एक दूसरा बंदा लाहौर में मेट्रो स्टेशन पे काम करता है, आपके लाहौर में, बल्कि मेट्रो स्टेशन पे काम
जी,
करता
जी,
था। अब वो कहता है कि नीचे कॉल अलाउ नहीं थी। उससे मैंने खुद बात की।
ठीक है,
कॉल अलाउ नहीं थी, तो उसको
ठीक है,
वो ऊपर गया छत पे, दूसरे पोर्शन में जाके कॉल कर रहा था। कॉल करते-करते उसने ऐसे हाथ ऊपर किया। अब अनफॉर्च्यूनेटली भई इतना हाथ ऊपर किया है, तो हाथ करते तो ऊपर वापडा की केबल हाथ में आ जाइए, कि कहाँ का असूल है कि भई इतनी केबल उसकी हाइट होनी चाहिए। वो हाथ लगा, कहता है कि उसके
जी,
बाद मुझे समझ नहीं आई। उसके बाद उसका ये हाथ भी कट गया। काटना पड़ा डॉक्टरों को, दूसरी टाँग भी अपोज़िट काटनी पड़ी, और बाकी टाँग एक उसका पाँव कट गया। और सारा वो अपाहिज हो गया। मैं बड़ा उसको देख के ना, उसका वो इस तरह की सूरत-हाल हुई। पहली तो बात यह है कि ये सारा कुछ हो रहा है कि ये जिसमें सेफ्टी की हमें डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज में, तो डेवलपिंग कंट्री में बंदे की वर्थ कोई नहीं रही, तो अब आप अंदाजा लगा लें क्या हो रहा है, तमाशा लगा हुआ है।
इसे
इनको
ना हम अपने इस पॉडकास्ट की वसासत
जालिमों
से
को,
एक तो वापडा की तरफ, वापडा को इस मसले की तरफ उनकी तवज्जो दिलवाएंगे कि जी फ्यूचर
भाई
में इस
कम से
रात
कम
को
है।
भी एक दो वाकया
जी
हाईलाइट
जी
किए
जी
कि एक और
जी जी
बड़े वाकये से बचने के लिए बजाय कि हम इंतजार करें मजीद कोई इस तरह के सानियात हों, कि
जी
वापडा
जी
को कोई इंश्योर करना चाहिए कि ये खास तौर पे जो हमारे पास ये पावर की जो लाइन्स फ्लो कर रही हैं, उनकी अच्छी खासी हाइट और आम बंदे की पहुंच से दूर होनी चाहिए।
बिल्कुल।
जी हबीब साहब।
बल्कि ये पिंडी में मेरे दोस्त हैं, एक्सियन है पिंडी में, वो अगर सुन रहे हो या कभी सुने इंशाल्लाह, तो उनसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि वो बड़े मोटिवेटेड भी हैं, कम से कम पिंडी सेक्शन को तो करें ना, एक एग्जांपल बनाएं, खुद इनिशिएट ले,
बताएं।
और जो घरों के करीब से लाइनें गुजरी हैं उनको कम से कम इंसुलेट करें। ये बेचारा एक बंदा, इसकी जिंदगी चलेगी है, मुझे तो उसका दुख ही बड़ा हो रहा है कि मतलब ये तो मुझे पता चला है, जिसका मुझे पता ही नहीं है वो कितने लोग होंगे जो इन हादसों का शिकार होते हैं। और
हबीब साहब ये एक
हमारे
हकीकत बात है, ये एक ये पिंडी की बात नहीं है। अगर आप अभी भी हफीज सेंटर में जाके देखें, उधर भी हालात है, और इवन लाहौर में भी आप कई जगह जाके देखें जो कि लेस डेवलप्ड एरियाज हैं, मैं जो मोहल्लों की बात करूं, तो अभी भी हालात कोई मुख्तलिफ नहीं है। क्योंकि एक तो सबसे बड़ा मसला ये है कि यहाँ जी लोगों गलियों मोहल्लों में अभी भी वो एक चल रहा है कि शादियां इधर होंगी और फंक्शन होंगे, ये 12वीं रबीउल अव्वल का जुलूस होगा, मुहर्रम की कोई जुलूस होगा, तो ये सब वो जब लाइट्स लगाएंगे ना, तो वो लाइट्स डायरेक्ट वापडा से ले लेंगे। अब उससे
हम्म,
क्या होता है कि तार कहीं ना कहीं नीचे आ जाती है अपनी एक्चुअल पोजीशन से, और वो तो एक फंक्शन हुआ खत्म हो गया, लेकिन बाद में वो सबके लिए बड़ा ही एक मसला है। जिस तरह आपने दो इंसिडेंट हाईलाइट किए, मेरा ख्याल है आंखें खोलने के लिए वो दो इंसिडेंट काफी हैं। और लाहौर में और भी हमने गाहे बगाए इस तरह के इंसिडेंट देखे हैं, तो मेरा ख्याल है वापडा की इस तरफ भी उनकी एक तरफ जरूर ये बात उनकी होनी चाहिए, उस पर एक्शन होना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल।
अब हबीब साहब हम वापस चलें। जी जी।
जी, जी। अब ये मलसा, ये जो
हबीब
मैंने कहा
साहब
था ना, ये सारा करंट की गेम है, करंट बढ़ गया, ये हो गया, इससे पीछे ट्रिप नहीं हो रहा सिस्टम, प्रोटेक्शन नहीं है असल में सिस्टम में।
नहीं
तो
है, नहीं है।
प्रोटेक्शन जो है ना, उसके लिए ज़ाहिर है सिस्टम हमारा उसको मज़ीद जितना भी रिफाइन करते जाएँ, करते जाएँ, करते जाएँ, ज़ाहिर है डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज़ ने अपने सिस्टम मज़ीद वो कर लिए हैं, सेफ्टी को ज़्यादा इंश्योर करते हैं। हमारे डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज़ इस लेवल पे गए ही नहीं है। तो ये चीज़ें हैं सारी, ट्रेड ऑफ के साथ इसको मज़ीद, मतलब हर बंदा अगर कंट्रीब्यूट करता है तो आई थिंक सो वी कैन इम्प्रूव। बट ये नहीं है कि भी जो है अपनी कुर्सी बचाने के लिए और जुल्म करते रहे लोगों के ऊपर और जालिम बन जाएं, और मतलब वो चक्कर वो दूसरी लाइन में चल जाएं, तो फिर जो है ना, फिर तो अल्लाह ही मालिक है इसका।
जी साहब इंशाल्लाह हम अपने आने वाली सीरीज की अगली जो पॉडकास्ट होंगी उसमें यकीनन तौर पे इन इश्यूज को हाईलाइट करते रहेंगे और वापडा की तवज्जो दिलाते रहेंगे, और इन मसलों पे मजीद हम इंशाल्लाह इस प्लेटफॉर्म से मजीद डिटेल में बात करेंगे और हकाम बाला की इस तरफ तवज्जो दिलाएंगे। ये सब आप आखिरी बात को कंट्रोल उसको जरा कंक्लूड कर दीजिएगा, जो हमें कंट्रोल एंड ऑटोमेशन से अब हम आगे डिजिटल टेक्निक्स और कम्युनिकेशन की तरफ बढ़ेंगे। अब जरा कंक्लूड कर दीजिएगा कंट्रोल एंड ऑटोमेशन, जो कि लोग मोटिवेटेड हैं ऑटोमेशन की तरफ आने के लिए, और उनके लिए आखिरी क्या मैसेज होगा अभी सर?
जी, उसमें ये है कि मैं, अगर ज़्यादा मोटिवेशन लोग हैं और इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर हैं, तो पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर बने। मैंने इधर स्कोप बहुत देखा है, पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर का स्कोप। एक तो ये है ना कि पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एप्लीकेशन इन पावर सिस्टम, वो एक अलग चीज़ है, और एक स्पेशलाइज्ड पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर बने, ये दोनों की डिमांड है, बहुत ज़्यादा, दोनों की डिमांड है। और इनमें आप जो है क्योंकि इसमें मसाइल सारे एसी टू डीसी कन्वर्जन के हैं, मिसाल के जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन की है, कन्वर्जन करनी है, आपने ट्रांसफ़र करनी है डीसी, एचवीडीसी में। तो ये सारा कुछ सिस्टम जो है ना, पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर, अगर आप इलेक्ट्रिकल पावर इंजीनियर और इसमें स्पेशलाइज़ करना चाह रहे हैं, तो पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स का स्कोप अनएंडिंग है। आप समझें कि इसमें मसाइल भी काफ़ी हैं, और इसके अंदर कंट्रोल, आपने पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कन्वर्टर पढ़ेंगे तो उसका कंट्रोल भी है, कंट्रोल एंड ऑटोमेशन भी आपने करनी है। कंट्रोल में डिफरेंट तरीके हैं, मुख्तलिफ तरीके आ रहे हैं, और उसके अंदर बेतहाशा ऐसा एरिया है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं आप जस्ट हिंट दूंगा, फॉल्ट राइट थ्रू, एफआरटी फॉर एग्जाम्पल, रिएक्टिव पावर कंपनसेशन, नेगेटिव सीक्वेंस कंपनसेशन, वर्चुअल इंपीडेंस कंट्रोल। अब इतने बेत इनर करंट आउटर वोल्टेज कंट्रोल, वर्चुअल सिंक्रोनस मशीन, वीएसएम कंट्रोल, ड्रूप कंट्रोल, बैटरी के लिए, सोलर के लिए, ग्रिड कनेक्टेड है, आइलैंडेड है। मतलब इस तरह के बेताशा, ये थोड़ा मोर टेक्निकल मैंने कर दिया जस्ट एक वो फ्लेवर देने के लिए, वरना मैं इसकी डेप्थ में नहीं जाना चाहता। मतलब ये है कि आप कंट्रोल भी आप फ्लेवर लेंगे, पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर होंगे, और कंट्रोल का फ्लेवर आपके अंदर होगा, और उसके साथ साथ आप पावर इलेक्ट्रिकल पावर तो इज विल बी द मेन फील्ड। सो दीज आर द कॉम्बिनेशंस। एंड कम्युनिकेशन एंड डिजिटल टेक्निक्स जो है, वो एक फील्ड है जो कि कुछ सिस्टम्स हैं जिसमें कम्युनिकेशन आपको चाहिए होती है, कुछ आपके कम्युनिकेशन के बगैर होते हैं। मतलब वो आपका मिसाल के तौर पे कम्युनिकेशन की कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस है कि आप रिमोटली कंट्रोल कर लेते हैं चीज़ों को, कम्युनिकेट करते हैं सिग्नल्स को। मिसाल के तौर पे आपका माइक्रोग्रिड मतलब लाहौर के बाहर किसी शहर में है और आपके घर के अंदर आप डिवाइसेस से कंट्रोल कर रहे होते हैं। इधर बाहर तो आया हुआ है, इधर तो आपकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जो है ना, इधर यूरोप में घर में जो बच्चा है, बंदा है ना, ऑनर है जो घर का, वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी परचेज करता है। वो देखता है कि यार वॉशिंग मशीन मुझे 10 बजे नहीं चलानी, देखें इस वक्त रेट ये है, मैं वॉशिंग मशीन का टाइम उसने अलग रखा हुआ है, 11 से 12 रात को चलानी है, समझ रहे हैं? मतलब इस तरह
ठीक
वो
है।
पूरे ऑप्टिमाइज हो गए हैं, एप्स बनी हुई हैं। आप इवन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आप खरीद सकते हैं। मिसाल तौर पे आप चाहते हैं कि नहीं नहीं यार ये मुझे महंगी दे रहा है, मैं ये दूसरे के साथ स्विच कर रहा हूँ अभी, तो वो आप ऑनलाइन स्विच करते हैं। ये सारी ऑटोमेशन कंट्रोल है और उसमें कम्युनिकेशन आ गई है। ये देखिए सारी मोबाइल से आप कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हैं, घर बैठे आप सारा कुछ कर रहे हैं, कंट्रोल सारा कुछ जो हो रहा है आप कम्युनिकेशन करेंगे और आगे पीछे कंट्रोल चलेगा, पावर इलेक्ट्रॉन्स चलेगी, कन्वर्टर चलेंगे, पावर शिफ्ट होगी, ट्रांसफर होगी। ये सारी गेम इंटरकनेक्टेड इस तरह है।
Right. So these are in whichever field you want to go, so you must have the flavor of all these ones. You can do the specialization in the one, but you have the flavor of at least know the
Yes.
basic because one way or the other they are interconnected.
Yes, yes, because Malsab is there is for example, I was the electrical power engineer, and during the master degree, I was thinking, okay, electrical power, okay, there is no control or something. But when I have completed my PhD, power electronics converters were involved, control is involved, something, and then now in the industry we are seeing control and digital techniques all involved. Machine learning, artificial intelligence, machine learning is here. Now we are playing with the data, something. So all the fields are interrelated, and I have to do all tasks together with the team. Definitely there is a
So,
team.
Abhisar, is it true? Abhisar, just clear one thing. Is it true because you have got a vast experience? You have been in the bachelor, then you have been in teaching, then you've been doing the masters, then you have been doing the master in a couple of places, then doing the PhD, then the postdoc. You have been through all these processes. Maybe it may be true for you that you have been going through all this one. So, would you tell someone who has done his bachelor in electrical engineering and is about to start the job? Is it true for him only one field will be enough. He's expert of that field. He should not be caring about other field because you have done so many projects. You have experience of industry. You have the experience of academia. So you have been involved in different things. It may be true for you that you should be a jack of all trades. But if someone who has done the bachelor ready to go in any particular field, will it be good enough that he should be the master of only one particular field, or no? He must
Ji.
have the knowledge and he
Yes.
must gain expertise in all these fields.
No, Mansur, that's very good question. For example, I will show if the person want to go to become the SDO in WAPDA, he need only electrical
Right.
power, no control, nothing
Right.
electronics, no
Yeah.
digital things, no controls, nothing. He is electrical power. He can do, and he can go to there something like that. Or even some private companies, they are
Because Even
people.
even even if, apart from Wapda, if he's going abroad, even he's going abroad, you talk about he's going in Middle East, in Saudi, the way
Yeah,
Oman,
yes, yes,
and he's working in power again. Only one field will be required. If he's
yes,
going into the
yes.
communication field, again he required one field. Is it true?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. In Middle East, you are working in the power plants, power generation section, something like that. So only electrical power, something required. No, no need of any other things is okay. So this is okay. And other thing, for example,
So I think Rizal, this
you
is
are
a
working.
big motivation for all our listeners.
Yes, and for example, Malsab,
This is
electronics.
a big
Not,
motivation of all our listeners that should gain expertise in one field at least.
yes, yes, and also for the electronics, not power
Yes, sir, please go
electronics.
ahead.
Not power
Yeah,
electronics. Power electronics is for the high amount of power to transfer, but for the low circuit, small circuits, you see the circuit, for example, the laptop circuit, for example, the laptop is all is electronics.
yeah,
So you need very 5 volt, 12
yeah.
volt, something like that. Mobile circuits. So it is all electronics. So you are PMO, atomic energy, PMO, and DC. These all the they need actually electronic engineer. So electronic
Mhm.
engineer demand is very high in Pakistan, for example. So you have to do the electronics. So you can have some selected field. So all the fields have some specific areas where you can go with only one specialization in one field. Something this is possible. But my question is,
Rizal, now we are moving.
if you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
face a project and you are involved in the projects, you are working in at international level and international perspective, you are involved in the project, so
yeah.
you will play all with all these things actually. and this is based on your you definitely you need the experience, and with the passage of time you have to go there. And also you will
These are, I think,
uh, yeah, sorry, yes, yes.
Abhisab, you have covered all these topics and all these, you have given us the brief and introduction of all these different main fields of electrical engineering. Abhisab, before we go and move to conclude our this podcast for today, one topic I want to discuss nowadays, there's a trend, even in the UK and Europe, even in the South Asia as well, we seeing that people are doing lot of want to enter into this field of renewable energy. They believe that there's a lot of demand of renewable energy, and maybe doing the master in renewable energy is comparatively easy as well. Maybe one of that reason, maybe the demand is too much. What is your understanding, or what is your understanding about renewable energy? Please just give a brief introduction of renewable energy.
Yes, Malsab, this for the renewable energy, definitely this is the hot area. You can say everyone is talking about. Some countries have the enough generation of wind. They will talk about the wind. Even for the wind power generation, there are type 1 wind turbine, type 2 wind turbine, type 3 wind turbine, type 4 wind turbine. Now type 5 wind turbine is people are doing work on this type 5. Before it was only up to type 4. So this is renewable energy, so something like that. So I think so for the renewable energy, the hot area. And my suggestion and my advice is, okay, you will complete the renewable energy. This renewable energy is the overview of the power, electrical power. But you have to focus, for example, if you are want to go to Europe, you have to focus whether this electrical power you can link it with power electronics as a power electronics engineer, or you can apply that power electronics in this electrical power in renewable energy, something like that. And you have to specialize yourself. Renewable energy is the generalized field. You can say, okay, you will do the master, for example, and after the PhD, during the PhD, or if you want to do the PhD, what specific areas in the renewable energy you want to work as a power electronics engineer, as the power electronics in the power system, as the control engineer. So you have to think on like that, and you will have to be the specialized in that, something like that.
Okay, I think Vishal, you have given us a very good and depth about all these different fields of electrical engineering. Vishal, now we are just moving on towards the concluding side. Can you just give the concluding line of of today's session? What you would suggest to our the engineers who are about to select their which is going to be the best field? What will be your suggestion? And who have done the electrical, who have done their electrical engineering, want to are about to start their careers or maybe the mid careers. What is your advice to all of them?
Malsab, thank you for this question. It's very important. First of all, everyone has the different personality. Some people are very good in research, uh, and some people are strategic mind. Some people are analytical, deep thinkers. Some are, so it depends. For example, you cannot impose that. Okay, because and one thing is very important, and this is the reality that no, everything is data. Future is about data. In renewable energy, every you have the data. For example, for the last 20 years, you are generating the electricity from the solar system, and for the last 20 years you have the data of the solar. Or for example, rain forecasting, you see, you have the data for the last 20 years, and your forecasting will be better. You will process that data using the machine learning, artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is very important. You can say in this area, if you want to go in a renewable energy, think about artificial intelligence, how you can apply machine learning. If you are good in and no if you are not good in programming, no problem, ChatGPT is there. All these softwares, ChatGPT and other um, different softwares are there. They can program for you, no problem. And programming is not the issue, but definitely you have to know the basics things, because if there is a program, you can say, but basic things are okay. Troubleshooting, you can do that one. So you can process that data.
Very important one word you've used, artificial intelligence. We know artificial intelligence is taking the control of all the fields. But just briefly, what is the role of artificial intelligence in electrical engineering, how it can overtake? You are mentioning some
I
very
will.
important. So just briefly, how?
So I will give you one example. What I have done one project using
Oh,
artificial intelligence. I was working
right,
on offshore wind project. Offshore wind project. Offshore wind is
right,
the wind turbines which are installed on in the sea. Sea, sea.
right,
The sea.
right,
There is the offshore wind turbines, and you see, no, there is an important part of the wind turbine, that is power electronic converter. Again, the converter. So that is the important part, and is also the costly part. You have to you need the maintenance of those, because in sea you have the wind turbines in the sea. You cannot easily do the maintenance. You cannot easily go there and something like that. So it means that is the costly component. What I have done, I just gave you my example. I use that data in a simple way. There is a long story short, that for those offshore wind turbines, I extract the data of that. And definitely there are wind turbine companies, Vestas, and there are other companies. You can take the real time data of the wind farms which are installed in every part of the countries, different countries. So those data, you will process that data, and you will conclude using the machine learning. You will conclude that, okay, for this 80 wind turbine system, for example, there are 80 wind turbines, 80 wind farm there. So you will, using the machine learning, you can suggest the operators or something like that, okay, this turbine will have more tear, wear and tear, and it will stop working first, because this is the more pressure on this turbine, and its power converter needs the maintenance. But other
right.
turbines, there is no problem for the other turbines, because if you don't do the maintenance here, you can even spend 6 months, you can wait for 6 months or 1 year, they will working fine. So this machine learning is, or artificial intelligence is helping you, that okay, this is very urgent, this is okay, normal, don't worry about this. So they are guiding you something, instead of blindly doing everything. Okay, 1 year gone, now do the maintenance for all the wind turbines. No, they will say, no, 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 selective maintenance is okay, this is okay,
Yeah.
something like that. This is the example what
Maybe
I.
I think this is a maybe I think the artificial intelligence, as it has make the things very easy in other fields. I think equally it's beneficial in the field of electrical engineering. I think Abhishek, with this we come to the end of today's session. I think very well, Abhishek, you have defined and cover all those different fields in electrical engineering, whether it's power. We discuss about the renewable energy, then we talk about electronics engineering, then we have a detailed discussion about the automation and the controls, and then we touch the digital techniques and communication as well. So, Viva, this was just the beginning. We have just have the first session. In the coming sessions, we will keep on discussing some interesting things. We have discussed one thing very interesting, that was the short circuit. People may be informative for the people, especially for the layman people. I think electrical engineers, they are very much aware of that one. But Abhishek, before we that, another one very important aspect now. It's a very trend. I want that you just should just touch it, and then we conclude this session. That is, Abhishek, in the Middle East, especially in the Saudi Arabia, we've seen there's a lot of jobs of the sales engineers, especially from Pakistan. I'm seeing the engineers are going there in the field of sales. So, Abhishek, can you just give it in 2 lines? Those engineers who are not technically good, but for the sales engineer, it's not enough that you've done the MBA or something like that or marketing and you're doing it. They really prefer for sales, even in Pakistan or Pakistan, India, and you talk about even the in the Middle East, they prefer. There's a lot of electrical engineers, they are coming towards the sales engineering side. Do you think it's beneficial, it's good? They should go towards this side, or it's just about wasting themselves? Just your
Also, also
opinion in
very,
this.
very, very important. Thank you for this question. One thing is, if the person is not technical, I cannot impose him to be technical. Okay, say for the sales is okay. If he is not inclined to the technicalities or something like that, okay for him. Okay, the background is okay, technical, and if he can prefer something like that because of his personality and his inclination to that, very good, because he can flourish in that field as well. One thing,
Yeah,
but what is very, very important here, what I observed, you have to be very specific, expert in one skill. For example,
yeah, right,
no, here, what I'm recognized here in one of the industry. they have the all the engineers, but they don't have the control engineer. So now I'm working as a control engineer, actually control and automation
Right,
engineer.
right,
So this was the
right,
definition,
right.
and I am fulfilling those definitions. And no one there has the expertise of this. Now I feel safe in this area. Okay, and I will definitely working on this. So definitely I will have more experience, more vision, more expertise. So I will have the place in that, and I can boost my future. Can expand my future, and it is smooth, something like that. But if I don't have any
Yeah,
expertise, I'm not recognized with one skill. Okay, I have the expertise on power, electrical power, power electrons, and everything, but now this specific industry needs the control engineer. So I'm now playing the role of control. But if I need something to switch the job, and they need the power electronic application and electrical power system, I will portray myself that I am the power electronics application expert to apply in electrical power system, and I can serve that because I have apply the machine learning, power electronics in my postdoc, something in one of the job role, and another job role I applied another skills. So it means diversified things make you very competent. It means you are equipping yourself, protection, for example, you are the soldier, you have the protection, you have another protection, so you have many protections, and you can play roles, your critical role. For example, as the family example, I am the father, so I am also playing the role of father, husband, as a son. You see different roles, same roles, you can say. What I observed here, you have to portray for specific application. You should have some specific skills, so you can tell them, okay, I have, and the remaining skills will you can say will be the added advantage and the secondary boosting elements which you will boost your primary goal, something. So this is the things.
I think what you said is it's very important for survival that you should be expert in one field. But if you want to go even one step ahead, it's better that you should have the know-how and try to become the expert in other field as well. Apart from one, one should be your basic, and try to gain as much as you can in the other fields as well.
Similarly, very very good, Professor Mark, and I will just endorse this with one example from my practical experience. One project I was working, and that was power electronics, just to have the power electrons and to apply the machine learnings. So that was the to process the data as a machine learning engineer, artificial intelligence engineer. I worked there, and as a power electronics engineer, this was the combination of both. And another project, that is control and automation and protection. So that is the different field, something. And now I'm working there, but I'm also using my previous experience to innovate the things in my control and automation and protection, something like that. And maybe the third project will be different, that will be entirely on machine learning to process the data. Now I am confident that I can play in electrical engineering, I can play in electrical power electronics, power control and automation. I can play. And for the communication, I also touched this field here, and I implemented something in the communication. And later on, maybe I will include more communication protocols here in this project. Now I am equipped with four things, and I can play anywhere. So this is what the electrical
Abhishek,
engineers will look
Abhishek,
like, something.
I wish and I pray that every electrical engineer should have expertise to some extent in all these fields. With your experience, you have been doing so good and you have worked so well. You got so many research papers, theses, and your practical experience in all these, almost in all these fields, and you can walk in any field very easily. I wish and pray all other engineers can also do the same, and with the passage of time, they can also gain these skills as quickly as possible and as much as they can. So, Bipsa, thank you very much for giving us some insight, information, knowledge, and a wonderful in-depth knowledge. We want to have a brief introduction, but still, your knowledge is so vast that this brief introduction, to some extent, we have really go into depth of this one. So, in a different other podcast to follow this one, we will discussing all these fields one by one, and we're going into each and every topic in detail, and we will take the full advantage of your experience, of your knowledge. And Abhisa, once again, thank you very much. And inshallah, see you in the next podcast. And for all of our listeners and viewers, thank you very much for sticking with us. And hopefully, in future, we will be coming up with some more informative videos. So once again, thank you very much for watching and listening us.
Well,
Till the
sir,
next
thank you very
time.
much. Thank you very much for arranging this session, to proposing this session, and this credit goes to you to organize this session and this series. And really thankful for this. And you feel the pain for something to work for the community or something, and everyone should do something like that. We have to pay back for the community as well. So we have to work on different projects. And thanks to you, thank you very much again, that you are motivated on this. And you just used to give me the feedback, and just used to, you can say, suggest me some important things which we together can accomplish and can implement very easily in future as well. Thank you very much.
And we request our listeners to give us the feedback about our podcast, and then we will be there. We will try to bring the expertise of the different fields from different parts of the world on this platform. And inshallah, I will recommend and suggest to all of our viewers to just stay tuned with our this channel, and because a lot of useful information related to electrical engineering and other motivational part and a lot of many things are follow. So we can just assure you that this channel will be something very, very useful for you. So once again, Abhishek, thank you very much, and thank you very much for to all our listeners. And shall I see you next time? Till that time, it's goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you.